Welcome back to TFL Studios in Boulder, Colorado. I am Andrei Smirnov, and this is the second episode of May Truck Madness. Truck Madness is where you decide on the best and most popular off-road truck for 2020. In this video, I'm gonna go over the results from round 1 of voting because you chose 3 trucks out of 6, and then we're gonna introduce the next 6 trucks that you're gonna be voting on this week. I'm really happy to report that in the first round of voting, we received 31,200 votes from you guys overall and about 600 comments. We're very, very pleased by the response you guys gave us and all of the comments and feedback and even some video clips that you sent in. If you did not join us for the first episode, May Truck Madness is set up in the following way. We chose 12 of the latest and greatest off-road pickup trucks from every manufacturer that sells trucks in the United States, and then we seeded them into a bracket. And the way we did the seating is based on TFL's Off-Road Index, or ORI. And ORI is basically a way to judge a truck on paper on the approach and departure angles, four-wheel drive system, low range, the ground clearance, the tires, the technology that the truck has. And we've ranked every truck, and then we seeded them best against the worst. All right, so let's look at the results of the first round of voting. And for that, I need to go to my experts. So here we go. I have Nathan Mad Dog Adlin, and of course, Stephen Mad Moose Elmer.
Hey, everybody.
And guys, we got to discuss the first round. This is all up to the voters, the viewers, and the fans of off-road trucks. So we have 3 matchups. So let's go down the line, review the comments from the people, and actually show the results.
Alrighty.
Sounds good.
All right, let's look at the first matchup. This is Jeep Gladiator Rubicon versus the Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. The Jeep Gladiator is the number 1 seed versus the number 12 seed. It's basically very similar to how sports are matched up. And so let's show the result right now. The Gladiator took it by a 63% of the vote. Booyah!
Yeah, no big surprise here, Andre, I think. I mean, you know what, guys? In March Madness history, the 16 seed has only beat the 1 seed 1 time. So it's very rare that, the last place truck would take out the first place truck. And that did not happen here. And we all know the Gladiator is incredible off-road, so I think it deserves the win.
It is an incredible truck off-road. I agree with Steven 100%. The Toyota Tundra is a big favorite amongst people who like reliable trucks, but we're not doing reliability. This is a little bit more of a popularity contest, but the thing here is we have a lot of comments where people talk about why they voted the way they voted, and some of them are kind of interesting, and not all of them are positive with the Jeep. Their reasoning is interesting. So this comes from JustJ0312, and he says, the Gladiator has the rear end of a pregnant queen ant that scrapes over the smallest pebble. Definitely not off-road intended. Now, if you look at our ORI index, it measures pretty high on there because it does have really good ground clearance, excellent articulation, locking front rear diffs. I mean, the thing really is built for off-road, but you're right, the rear end is an issue.
Yeah, breakover and departure are not the best angles on the Gladiator, although you have to give it credit. The Rubicon does get rock rails in those back corners to help protect your bed. I love that Jeep did that. Now, I actually have 2 comments here, which are very similar. I'm going to read them both. So first one comes from Sean. Sean says, well, you know what? There's one I'd want for off-road and one I would actually buy. Jeep for off-roading and Tundra for everyday driver. And what's really interesting is I got a second comment exactly like that. This one just very simply says, off-road, Gladiator. to own Tundra. And you know what? I think that's a pretty common, opinion among people. And I'm not sure I'd agree with it, but that's very interesting that the Tundra seems to be more popular as an everyday driver.
Yeah, let's move on to the next one, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so the second matchup of this week was between the Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro, the number 3 seed, and the Nissan Titan Pro 4X, the number 10 seed. And the winner of this matchup, due to your voting, is Tacoma TRD Pro by an 81% of vote.
Man, that kind of hurts, because I really do think that the Titan Pro 4X deserves a little bit more notoriety. It does have a locking rear diff. It does have off-road suspension. It does have pretty good off-road tires. It has armor underneath. It's a really good truck. But look, we named the Toyota Tacoma the Golden Boy for a really good reason, right, guys?
Absolutely. I mean, this is the best-selling midsizer basically forever. The TRD Pro is totally legit. You get a lot of really great off-road gear, and it scores really well on the ORI score. And then I think the thing people love about it, we already talked about this with the Tundra, is Toyota's reputation for reliability. That just always comes up, and people really, really love the Tacoma for that.
Cool. So what are people saying? What are some of the comments, guys, as far as the Tacoma and also the Titan?
My favorite comment on the Tacoma, and I have to agree, was simply this: Tacoma gets the win by default because it has a manual transmission option. Yeah, I don't think you can fight back against that.
Okay.
Yeah, I got from El Albino Koja. Titan is so great of a truck, but it is underrated. And I agree with that. The Titan is a great truck, and it is underrated. But, guys, I mean, that Toyota is so solid. And if they put a locking front diff on that thing, it might be rated number 1 seed.
Now let's move on to the third and final matchup of this first round. And this was between the new Ram Rebel and the Ford Ranger FX4. And the Ram Rebel is a number 5 seed, and the Ranger is number 8 seed. And to me, at least in the beginning, I thought this was going to be an unpredictable matchup because we're kind of in the middle of this bracket, right?
Yeah, I thought the same thing. This is definitely the closest match that we saw of the three.
The 2019 Ford Ranger. Guess what, folks? This truck has it all. Off-road ability? Got it. Gotta go do something stupid off-road? Wanna put a wheel in the air? Got it. You wanna really go crazy? Look at those numbers. It's not even done being out of control. Gotta tow something stupid? You can do it. Wanna do anything and everything possible? The Ford Ranger's for you. That Ram Rebel ain't got nothing on Ford. Tow the full-size truck, it don't care. Power wagon? It's it. That's right. Put a whole bunch of crap in the bed, it'll haul it, it don't give a rat's ass, and guess what? It is wife-approved. Look at that face. That's the truck she's gonna steal out from underneath you. And see that kid right there? She's got the helmet on, she's ready to go. Don't believe me? Let the truck speak for itself.
Hey TFL, this is Mark from Chicago. I hope this video finds you well, and I want to introduce you to my truck. It's something you guys are very familiar with, the 2019 Ram Rebel. So why a Rebel for my first truck? Well, I wanted to start RVing, so I needed a truck that could tow, and I also wanted a truck that could take me on trails once I am out RVing to see the places only people can see if they're in a competent 4x4. And lastly, because I don't have 50 grand just to drop on an extra vehicle, I needed it to be my daily driver. I haven't been able to do any serious off-roading yet, although I did take it to a few places in the Chicago area just to get a feel for how the truck does go off-road. And again, the truck never felt out of control. I was always in command and really made it easy. I want to thank you guys for all the content you crank out. It's always informative, always entertaining, and I hope to see you in Moab one day.
And here's another look at some of the other comments you guys provided on episode 1 and the current competition. Here's Steven Eckelberger, who says, I bought my Rebel literally because of you guys. Took it off-roading this weekend, got high-centered, 2 hours of shoveling. It built my character. Stephen, it's great to know that you're actually using your truck, in this case, the Ram Rebel. Here's a comment from Terrence Jones. Terrence says, the ORI score is garbage. The Trail Boss beat the Rebel several times on your own channel. And the ORI index is meant as a guide, basically. It's a way for you guys to compare trucks, even trucks we haven't rated before, on paper. But that's why we do off-road testing in the real world as well at TFL Truck and TFL Off-Road, to actually find out exactly what the trucks can do in the real world. And if the Trail Boss beats the Rebel, so be it. The Ram Rebel won with 62% of the vote. It is the closest. You're absolutely right, Stephen. But what are people saying about either the Rebel or the Ranger?
So I've got a pair of comments here, and they're actually right in order. It worked out perfectly for us. So the first one comes from Army Mike, and you can tell he likes the Ranger. So Army Mike says, the Ranger is smaller and more nimble. Both have a rear locker, but the Ram Rebel has nothing for the front wheels. The Ranger has terrain management and trail control, and therefore I'm voting Ranger. So I think he brings up good points. Trail control is certainly a cool system, and it's pretty neat that it's there on the FX4. But then we move on to the next comment. This one comes from Bart McManus, and it's actually going to perfectly counterpoint the last one. So this Bart says, on pure off-road capability, the Rebel. It's a purpose-built machine with technology and equipment for a variety of off-road situations, while the FX4 package is basically giving the Ranger slight off-road capabilities. The biggest argument I see is, well, the Ranger is smaller and can go down trails. But saying it's better in one situation doesn't make it better overall. As far as fuel economy, don't forget the Rebel now has a diesel. And so that's what Bart had to say, guys. I'm leaning towards what Bart said. Sure, the Ranger's cool because it's small, but I do think the Rebel does come with more off-road chops out of the box.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more on the Ranger's side because it does have a special suspension for off-roading. It does have special tires for off-roading. It does have extra armor. Its off-road system also works in reverse, by the way. We've taken it to Moab, and it was very competent. It was surprisingly good. And I say surprisingly because I feel that vehicle would give competition to any vehicle in its class, including the Rubicon Jeep Gladiator, because it's just so capable. It's light on its toes. And remember, it comes standard with a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine and a 10-speed automatic transmission. Really high-end stuff in a fairly inexpensive truck.
So what we have to do now is actually introduce the next 6 truck bracket, right? And let people vote on that, and then we'll have our final 6 in the final competition.
This is exciting. I can't wait to see what happens next week.
Let it rip, Andre.
Well, thank you, Mad Moose and Mad Dog. I'm going to sign off and then actually introduce the other trucks.
All right, thank you.
See you guys.
The first matchup is between the Ram Power Wagon and the Nissan Frontier Pro 4X.
Old doesn't mean weak, it means you have more experience. This is the Nissan Frontier Pro 4X.
Still, after all these years, representing the heavy-duty ranks with distinction, it's the 2020 Ram Power Wagon.
The second matchup is between the Ford Raptor and the Chevy Silverado Trail Boss.
Sporting an in-your-face design and attitude to match, it's impossible to mistake the Chevrolet Silverado Trail Boss for anything else.
The truck that has been taking a bite out of the competition for a full decade. This is the Ford Raptor.
And the final matchup of this round is the new Ford Super Duty Tremor against the Chevy Colorado ZR2.
Lock both differentials and load up the suspension. This is the Chevy Colorado ZR2 Bison.
The newest heavy-duty bruiser on the block is the Ford F-250 Tremor.
Just as before, you can go to the community page of the TFL Truck YouTube channel right here and submit your votes. You can also comment, like, and you can also send us a video clip of about 60 seconds if you own one of these trucks and tell us why you love it, or maybe even why you hate the truck that you just got. Just as before, The voting goes from now until Thursday, May 14th. And on Sunday, the next episode in the series on May 17th, we'll announce the winners and losers of the second round of voting. If you want to submit a video clip of your truck, the deadline for that is the same. It's Thursday morning on May 14th. And the way to send us the clips is using our TFL Studios WeTransfer link. We'll link it below. And of course, on our community page of TFL Truck is where you can vote. And we love your comments and voting, and we can go over as many comments as we possibly can in the next video to show you guys which trucks came out on top. And then finally, once we have these 6 trucks, it'll be the Sweet 6, and we'll put them against each other. And in the final episode, you guys will know who will be the champion of this May Truck Madness. And as always, go back to tfltruck.com for the news, views, and real world truck reviews. And also check out TFL Off-Road YouTube channel and tfloffroad.com. That's where Steven Mad Moose Elmer gives you guys all of the latest off-road reviews with trucks, side-by-sides, and all kinds of other machines.